Yeah, we'll see about that. That's very interesting stuff. Good on you, Samira. Talk to you soon. Samira Hussain on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. The World Economic Forum in Delhi, it kicks off today. And it comes at a time, certainly at a time, of renewed interest in the nation. It's been 6 months since the landslide election victory of the BJP party, led by, of course, this bloke right here, Narendra Modi, where, let me be frank, he has made some big promises to reignite India's economy. But let's just take a quick look at some of the challenges that he faces, and there's a few of them. India needs an economic growth rate of between 7 and 8%. That's to create the 10 million jobs a year needed to absorb all the newcomers that come into that labour market. Currently, the growth rate 5.7%. India also lacks a lot of the sort of economic infrastructure many of us really take for granted. For example, only 40% of people there have a bank account. And finally, manufacturing contributes only 15% to India's economy, and a number certainly that Mr. Modi has said he wants raised to 25%. So, what are investors and business leaders at the event saying about India's future? Yogita Lamai sent us this from Delhi.
Ever since they came to power about 6 months ago, they have made several economic announcements. But despite all of those and all of the promises to make India an easier place to do business, we haven't seen big investments pouring in either from companies abroad or here in India. Now with me is Richard Rekhy, the Chief Executive of KPMG India. Mr. Modi's been to several countries, many foreign visits in the past few months. Lots of investment has been promised, but you don't actually see things moving on the ground. Why is that? Are foreign investors still wary about India?
The foreign investors are looking for 2-3 things. One is consistency in tax policy, consistency in government policy. So they're not bothered about the taxes as such, but they want to see consistency. And the last budget did not actually bring out many of the things. For example, the retrospective tax. There was no mention on GST. I think the government needs to come out with some policy announcements and some action on the ground, or where you're saying that you are going to have a roadmap for GST. There is going to be consistency of policy all around, and people need to get that confidence to get back. I think the mood is positive. The foreigners are looking at India positively. Indian business people are looking at India positively, but the investments will come after we get these right.
Right, and GST is one thing that you mentioned. That's the goods and services tax. Basically, it's one single tax that business wants implemented quite quickly. And if they were to see reforms, perhaps, that particular reform come in quite quickly, that would make them very happy.